Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 9. We will chant the first 5 verses.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha Idam tu te guhyatamam Pravakshyamyanasuyave Jnanam vijnana sahitam Yajñātvā mokṣyase shubhat Rajavidya rajaguhyam Pavitramidamuttamam Pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam Susukham kartumavyayam Ashraddhadhanah purushaha Dharmasyasya parantapa Aprapya mam nivartante Prityu samsara vatmani Maya tatamidam sarvam Jagadavyaktamurtina Matsthani sarvabhutani Nachaham teshvavasthitaha Nacha matsthani bhutani Pashyame yogamaishwaram Bhutabhrinna cha bhutastaha Mamatma bhutabhavanaha
In case somebody is new or relatively new, we are studying the ancient text called Bhagavad Gita in this class every Saturday. And this book, Bhagavad Gita, was written several thousands of years back. It could be 3,000 years ago, it could be 5,000 years ago. Nobody knows. It's difficult to fix exact period for this book. And the word Bhagavad Gita means Lord's poem. Gita is poem, Bhagavad is Lord. So enlightened master's message to the humanity. That's what it means. And it tells us how to live life by introducing us to eternal principles. They're also referred to as Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma meaning eternal principles of life and living. They are applicable at all periods of time, past, present, and future. World changes. World is in the flux of a change. But these eternal principles do not change. This is like law of gravity. The same law of gravity was applicable 50,000 years back. Same law is applicable today. And the same law of gravity will continue to be applicable in the future. So similarly, our relationship to the world, what is happening to us internally as a human being, it is based on certain principles, law of causation, law of cause and effect. So they are laws, they are eternal principles, they don't change. And if you want to have a peaceful, productive life, if you want to know how to relate to the world and come out victorious, come out successful, you have to learn these principles. So that is the role of Bhagavad Gita in educating the entire humanity. And whatever you want to achieve in this world is not possible without this knowledge. See, for example, we all want to be dynamic, we all want to be productive, and also we want to be peaceful at the same time, isn't it? But rare is a person who has both, that you are dynamic, you are productive, and also you are peaceful. Either you are peaceful or you are dynamic, never both. So, Bhagavad Gita tells you how to combine both. You want success, you want productivity, you want to know how to relate to people or everybody, including home. You want harmony in relationships. So, without this knowledge, there is no way you can get along with people, starting with your own partner, family members. That's what we find in the world. See, I'm trying to establish the cause and effect. That since this knowledge is not known to people, or to the extent people they are not learning this knowledge, to that extent you find relationships are falling apart. So even to manage relationships, like harmony in relationships, you need this knowledge. Without the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, without these eternal principles, you cannot face challenges of life. And life is nothing but series of challenges for all of us. So this knowledge gives you that capacity to deal with any challenge in the world. And above all, Bhagavad Gita introduces yourself to yourself. Meaning you're not what you think you are. So we all believe that we are body, mind, intellect. These are veshers. The core of your personality is divinity, truth, self, Atman. It is the seat of peace and bliss. So that's your real personality, not body, mind, intellect. And we all are busy playing with body, mind, intellect throughout our life. So therefore, we say Bhagavad Gita introduces yourself to yourself. That is your real personality. And at this moment, you have lost your personality, the core of your personality. And it is your life's mission to regain the core of your personality, which is that truth, which is divinity. And Bhagavad Gita gives that technique to regain our identity. And unless and until you regain your identity, you will be lost in the world. Doesn't matter what you do. You try to correct the external world, it's all right. But the problem remains, stress remains, agitations remain, disharmony remains, that sense of incompleteness remains, because we all have lost our identity. So you try to find peace, happiness in the external world because you don't know your real worth. And also, unnecessarily, you face knocks and shocks of life. That's the tragedy. We all have that amazing capacity to be absolutely peaceful, absolutely at rest under any circumstances. But since we don't know who we are trying to find that peace in the external world and unnecessarily bogged down by self inflicted challenges in life. So that's the role of Bhagavad Gita. Just a brief introduction, beginning of every chapter, we need to remind ourselves that what are we doing. And the ninth chapter of Bhagavad Gita will be starting with that chapter today. See, those who have the book, they can go to the first page. It's on page number 542. It doesn't matter. So the ninth chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Raja Vidya Rajagulya Yoga, the yoga of royal knowledge and royal secret. Raj means royal. So before we start verse by verse analysis, let's find out the introduction and what Swamiji is telling us in introduction and topic summary. So who is going to read introduction?
I will.
Veera is going to
Yes.
read the introduction and topic one.
Yes. Okay.
Hari Om.
Yes, sir. Please.
Chapter 9, The Yoga of Royal Knowledge and Royal Secret. Introduction. The ninth chapter, entitled The Yoga of Royal Knowledge and Royal Secret, contains 34 verses. It explains how the self, Atman, pervades the entire world. The wise seek the self, while the ignorant, disregarding the self, live in senseless life with vain hopes and aspirations. They go through the endless cycle of birth and death. Whatever one strives for, be it material or spiritual, one attains that particular goal. The ignorant gain their limited, mundane ends but never find fulfillment in their lives. Whereas the wise pursue the ultimate goal of realization and find absolute peace and bliss in their own self. Krishna therefore advises Arjuna and all mankind to seek the self, to oblate all worldly activities to the self until they reach spiritual enlightenment. Chapter 9 can be summarized into 4 topics. 1. Self pervades the world, verses 1 to 10. 2. The deluded disregard the self, the wise glorify and seek self, verses 11 to 19. 3. One attains what one strives for, verses 20 to 28. And 4. Dedicated effort leads seekers, even the unrighteous, to self realization, verses 29 to 34. Number 1. Self pervades the world. Krishna begins this chapter by offering to impart the knowledge of reality that pervades the world. How to achieve this supreme knowledge and free yourself from all agitations and sorrow. People lack this knowledge. Being unknown to all mankind, he refers to it as supreme secret. Those who fail to pursue this knowledge remain bound to the world of mortality. Krishna appeals to seekers to free themselves from this manifest world and reach the unmanifest reality, to discover the divinity that supports the pluralistic phenomenon. All living beings and inert things arise from the supreme reality. They exist in the reality. They ultimately merge into the reality. The periods of manifestation of the world and its dissolution run into billions of years. The supreme reality acts as the disinterested self, witnessing entire creation and dissolution. Two,
Anna,
Anna.
Sure, I can go next. 2, the deluded disregard the self. The wise glorify and seek the self. People remain ignorant of the self within. They do not recognize the supreme architect of the cosmic phenomenon. Deluded of the self, they sink into the quagmire of perceptions, emotions, and thoughts. These deluded people live a purposeless life of vain hopes and aspirations in this world. The wise perceive the self as the source of this world. They glorify and pursue the self. Firm in their vows, deep in their devotion, they strive all their lives until they realize the self. Krishna describes the self's manifestation in the world as the one divinity pervading the infinite range of beings and things everywhere. 3, one attains what one strives for. This topic describes the variety of human pursuits and how each gains its particular objective in life. These pursuits fall under three distinct types of activities in the world. The persons belonging to the first type act with self-centered interests in this world. They go about their activities merely fulfilling their ego and egocentric desires. Consequently, they suffer from mental agitations and sorrow. Others in the second category work selfishly for higher and nobler goals in life. They serve and sacrifice for their chosen ideal. They gain the joys of heaven. Punya. The third variety seek spiritual enlightenment. They strive for liberation through their devout offerings to the Supreme Being. They oblate all their actions, feelings, and thoughts to the altar of self-realization. Such seekers become liberated from their mundane existence and gain the ultimate bliss of realization. 4. Dedicated effort leads seekers, even the unrighteous, to self-realization. A seeker's direction in the spiritual path matters more than his spiritual status. A righteous person may move towards worldly attractions and devolve spiritually, whereas an unrighteous person may take the spiritual path and evolve. Therefore, in your spiritual life, what really matters is not where you are, but what direction you choose to take. The path of evolution or devolution. The topic concludes with a tone of encouragement, even to the unrighteous, that anyone can attain enlightenment through devotion and dedicated effort towards the Supreme Self.
Let's start with verse number 1.
श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं तु ते गुह्यतमम् प्रवक्ष्याम्यनसूयवे ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात् श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं तु ते गुह्यतमम् प्रवक्ष्याम्यनसूयवे ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात्
Translation. The Blessed Lord said, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, to you who does not cavil, verily I shall declare the greatest secret. Knowledge together with wisdom, which having known you shall be free from evil. Evil meaning mental agitations. So I'm going to give this knowledge, jnanam, along with wisdom, vijnanam. Jnanam is knowledge, vijnanam is wisdom. See, when he says one who does not cavil, Krishna is telling Arjuna that you are a qualified seeker because you have faith in this knowledge, you have surrendered to this knowledge. It is important for us to understand the backdrop of Bhagavad Gita. See, Arjuna represents you and me, a seeker. And a mighty warrior, that was Arjuna, he collapsed on the battlefield because the challenge became too much for him. It became subjective, which is applicable to all of us. When challenge becomes your own, when you face the challenge in your own life, do you have the capacity to deal with that challenge? That's the true test. See, otherwise, what's the big deal? We all can give lectures to others. Okay, you do this, you do that, do that. But when I face that challenge, similar challenge, same challenge, do I have that capacity to deal with that challenge? Is the question. So Arjuna was a great warrior, mighty warrior. When challenge became too much for him, he could not deal with that challenge anymore and he collapsed on the battlefield. And luckily, Krishna was available to guide him and he surrendered to Krishna. That is important. You may have access to a teacher, you may have access to a book, but you may not refer to it, you may not surrender. So that's the caliber of a seeker we are talking about, which is required to learn this knowledge. And only when Arjuna surrendered, Lord spoke, not before that. So therefore, Arjuna represents a qualified seeker. So it will apply to most of us because we all have surrendered to this knowledge. We all have faith in this knowledge. It's a question of more or less, but it is there, which is different from a person who has no faith in this knowledge. So that's the word, that cavil. Cavil meaning one who criticizes this knowledge, one who has no faith in this knowledge, one who finds faults with this knowledge, one who doubts the validity of this knowledge. Why do I need this knowledge? I know how to live my life. So that attitude is a barrier for you to correct yourself, to improve yourself. And that's what even Josh Billings is telling us, that the trouble with most people, trouble with most folks is not so much their ignorance. Yeah, there you go. The trouble with most folks, with most people, is not so much their ignorance as their knowing so many things which end so. What a statement. Problem with most people is not their ignorance. If ignorance is the problem, what is the problem? I'm aware that I do not know medicine and I take guidance from a qualified doctor, but I believe I know medicine. So how can anybody help me? So that attitude is talking about people. They feel I'm okay. I'm all right. Why do I need this knowledge? Or maybe I know this. I know how to live life. That's the problem. This is what Josh Billings is telling us. As they're knowing so many things which end so, you believe you know, it's not so. So that's the trouble with most people. So such a person is disqualified from learning this knowledge. Because when you don't have faith, when you don't surrender, your mind remains mentally agitated. And when your mind is mentally agitated, it is not suitable to receive this knowledge. Do you get the connection? Is somebody who has no faith in this knowledge. He feels that why do I need this knowledge? And with that frame of mind, you come to this class. I mean, how can you learn this? Your mind will be agitated. So when you have faith, when you surrender, when you have that respect, when you have reverence, it calms your mind. And calm mind is a prerequisite to learn this knowledge, any knowledge for that matter. So a true seeker surrenders to this knowledge, surrenders to a teacher, has reverence, respect, but it is not blind faith. See, that's what it is misunderstood. It is backed by spirit of inquiry. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is asking questions and Krishna is giving answers to his questions. If you go to Upanishad, which is the source of this knowledge, disciple is asking questions to a master, master is answering his questions. So it's not blind faith, but there has to be a beautiful blend of mind and intellect. So mind surrenders, mind has that respect and reverence, but also it is backed by your intellect. You think, you analyze, you understand, you apply yourself. So when there is a confluence of mind and intellect, you grow spiritually, not otherwise. It will be lopsided. Only mind, only faith, but it is not backed by spirit of inquiry. You won't get anywhere. Or only intellect, only analysis, only understanding, you will end up becoming a scholar. So the hallmark of a qualified seeker is that there is a beautiful blend of mind and intellect. And Arjuna was such a seeker. So to such a seeker, Krishna is saying, I am giving you the greatest secret, Gulyatamam. This knowledge is the greatest secret, not the way people misunderstand. Secret meaning if you try to find out the truth, you know it. But the supreme reality, divinity, is beyond body, mind, intellect. See, therefore he says it is the greatest secret. Meaning you can't know divinity, you can't know supreme reality, you can't know God by using body, mind, intellect. You cannot perceive supreme reality. You can't see, you can't taste, you can't touch, you can't hear, you can't smell. So your senses cannot contact supreme reality. With your mind, you cannot feel supreme reality. With intellect, you cannot comprehend supreme reality. Okay, now I captured. Yes, I understood finally. This is what the concept of God is. No, you cannot do that. So it is beyond body, mind, intellect. And those masters, enlightened masters, those who have reached that state, they are telling us by their own experience that, hey, there is something called a supreme reality. But you and I do not understand that at this moment. So therefore, it is the topmost secret in that sense. It has to be understood. And that, the knowledge of that reality, I am going to give you along with wisdom. So if you read the translation, it's very interesting. Knowledge together with wisdom. Jnanam vijnana sahitam. Jnanam is knowledge. Vijnanam is wisdom. Sahitam means with. So I am going to give you knowledge along with wisdom. And we have been saying right from the beginning that no teacher, no book can give you wisdom. They can only give us knowledge. They can only give us information. You have to receive that knowledge. You have to receive information from a guru. It could be from a book. Doesn't matter. Same principle. And only when you reflect on that knowledge, you put efforts to absorb that knowledge, which you do every day, early in the morning, as early as possible, then only that knowledge turns into wisdom. Wisdom meaning you are able to live this knowledge, whatever we are learning. Otherwise, you may know it. But when it comes to practical application, you may not be able to apply this in your day-to-day life. So that's what we find with most people. That they know it. I'm talking about people who are associated with this knowledge. They know it. They can't say they don't know it. But when they have to actually use this knowledge in their day-to-day life, they find themselves wanting because there is no wisdom. Why there is no wisdom? Because you have not put efforts to absorb this knowledge. And that effort to absorb this knowledge, you cannot delegate to your teacher. You cannot delegate to anybody. Okay, I am rich. I have all the money in the world. I will hire 10 people and they will do thinking for me. No, sir, it's not possible. So the wisdom, the practical application is effect of your own efforts. Are you following the concept? Is extremely important, because a lot of times people, they say, I know it. I have been studying this knowledge. I've been going for a Bible class, or I've been studying Bhagavad Gita, but how do I apply this knowledge? I cannot apply this knowledge in my day-to-day life. Now, why you cannot apply is because you are not putting efforts to absorb this knowledge. So the word which we use is manana. Shravana is listening or reading, and the same thing. So the teacher can give you this knowledge. You can get this knowledge through Shravana. But manana is reflection. Manana is a Sanskrit word. English translation is reflection. So you need to reflect on that knowledge. You need to put efforts to absorb that knowledge. Then only knowledge turns into wisdom. So that process of reflection, manana, is missing in 99.99% of the cases. Most people, they just go on reading books after books. So therefore we say, read less, think more. Read less, think more. And what are we doing? If at all we are reading, we go on reading, there is hardly any pause to think, to absorb, to reflect. So therefore, knowledge remains as what? Knowledge remains as what?
Superficial. We don't
So
dig.
knowledge remains as knowledge. You do not develop that ability to apply this beautiful, sublime knowledge in your day-to-day life. See, somebody went to Herbert Spencer. He was a great philosopher and a scientist. And they said, sir, you must be a voracious reader. And what knowledge you have, what wisdom you have, you must be a voracious reader. To which Herbert Spencer replied, if I were as big a reader as others, yeah, there you go on the screen. If I were as big a reader as others, I would have been as big and ignoramus as others. If I was a voracious reader like what other people are, I would have remained as ignorant as other people are. I hope you understand the importance of the statement. He said, no, hardly read. Meaning, the more focus is on absorbing the knowledge. If I were as big a reader as others, I would have been as big and enormous as others. So it doesn't matter. You may know Bhagavad Gita, you may know Bible, you may know Upanishad, you may know everything. You may be attending classes 2 times, 3 times in a week, doing e-learning. Great, why not? But per se, it means nothing. And that's what I tell people from time to time, those who seek my inputs constantly under monitor. If the moment I feel they're reading too much, studying too much, I say, hey, wait, you need to spend time to absorb the knowledge. And in spite of all this, Krishna says, I will give you knowledge along with wisdom. You're getting it's almost he's going hot and cold. Not really. The fact remains that no teacher, no textbook can give you wisdom. But this knowledge is so powerful that it will make you think. It will make you pause and question your life. That what direction are you going? Are you going in the right direction. It appeals to your logic and reason. So therefore he says, I will give you this knowledge along with wisdom. See, there are so many instances. I mean, I'm sure there are at least 20 people here who have shared their experience that how this knowledge transformed their life. Meaning they started thinking. See, it's not that they got great wisdom or something, but at least they started questioning their life, that what is my purpose in life? See, personally, when I heard my guru, Swami Parthasarthi, when I was 25, 2 or 3 lectures I heard, Bhagavad Gita lecture series in Pune. He was talking on chapter 3 of the Gita, Karma Yoga. See, within 2 or 3 lectures, my entire thinking process changed. And I was thick in the word. I mean, hot from Ivy League Business School, successful in business, had ambitions to earn money, this and that. We're not saying it is wrong, but 2 or 3 lectures, I started I asked that question to myself, hey, what am I doing in life? So it's not that Swamiji gave me wisdom during those 3 or 4 lectures, but it was so powerful. The knowledge was so powerful that I started thinking about what's the purpose of life. So in that sense, you need to understand. And when you get this knowledge, which I'm reading the last line, which having known, you shall be free from evil. So when you get this knowledge, when you learn this knowledge, when you put efforts to absorb this knowledge in your day-to-day life, you will be free from evil. Evil meaning mental agitations. What produces mental agitations is ignorance of this knowledge. That's the cause and effect. And when you are ignorant of this knowledge, when you do not know your worth, when you do not understand that you are that peace, you are that bliss, you are lost in life. You are heading in the wrong direction. It doesn't matter what you do. You may try to find happiness in a relationship, you may try to find happiness in money, you may try to find happiness in power. We're not saying it is wrong, but the pursuit itself is wrong. The starting point itself is wrong. Why it is wrong? See, I repeat, ignorance of this knowledge produces mental agitations. So we are saying, why whatever you are pursuing in life is wrong. Wrong in, we're not saying in the negative sense. Doesn't matter what you are pursuing. It could be family, it could be business, it could be whatever, anything terrestrial, anything worldly. It is not going to give you happiness. It is going to produce mental agitations, stress, worry, anxiety. The question is why? Only this knowledge can remove evil, mental agitations. Anything else doesn't matter, however noble it may be, the worldly thing we are talking about, it will produce mental agitations, worry, anxiety. The question is why?
It takes us further away from realizing the self and into the dimensions of about the world. Our mind becomes about mind, intellect, and everything like that instead of self.
It creates more desires.
Who said that?
Gargi.
Yeah, good. What else?
Heading in the wrong direction.
Perfect. All are great answers. See, your direction itself is wrong. So how can you find happiness? See, I live in West Bloomfield. I'm just giving you an example. Right now I'm in India. And Radha, Veera, all these people, Shruti, they invited me, let's say in Troy, for a meal. My home is West Bloomfield. West Bloomfield is towards the west of Troy. Shruti, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, Anuj. Yes.
Yeah, it is the west of Troy. And after the meal is over, I tell everybody, hi, okay, bye, thank you for the meal. And I go east. So how will I reach my home, West Bloomfield, which is in the direction of west? Now I'm looking for the comfort of my home, go there, relax. I'm going in the east. How will I reach home? So that's what Tim is telling us. The direction itself is wrong. So how can you be peaceful? How can you find happiness? See, it's a question of more or less. It's not that you are miserable or being tortured or something like that. But there is no fulfillment. There is no true purpose in life. If you analyze carefully, there is stress, there is worry, there is anxiety, there is disharmony. It's a question of more or less. Why? Because your direction itself is wrong. You're supposed to go towards divinity, but we all are going towards what?
Darkness.
Towards the world.
Towards the world. Now, it doesn't matter which aspect of the world. How can you be free from mental agitations? It's not possible. And once the direction is wrong, that's what somebody gave that answer. It's a good answer. See, once your direction is wrong, once you're ignorant, it will produce more desires for the world. So you're committing a double fault. You're going in the wrong direction. And on top of that, you are creating more desires for that wrong direction. It's absurd. Prima facie, it is absurd. So therefore, everybody is inflicted with stress, worry, anxiety. It's a question of more or less. That is all. But what Krishna is telling us, that this knowledge will set you on the right course of life. Meaning that direction will change. At least you'll be aware that I'm going in the wrong direction and I'm supposed to go west. And once you understand that what is the true course of life, I have to support, this is the direction I have to take. You will know how to manage all aspects of your life. Doesn't matter. It could be family, it could be business, it could be whatever. Your direction itself is correct. And it will reduce your desires. And eventually it will take you to your original state by eliminating all desires. Are you getting the thought flow? See, if your direction is wrong, by default, it will produce desires. And if you continue that pursuit, whatever you're pursuing in the world, it will keep on generating more and more desires. But the moment you change your direction, you're on the right path. That's what we mean. And after that, doesn't matter what you do. You will know how to relate to your family. You will know how to relate to your business. You'll know how to manage even your acquisitions and enjoyment, because direction is correct. So therefore, with the help of this knowledge, your desires will be reduced and eventually all the desires will be eliminated, which is a state of absolute peace and absolute bliss. So therefore, Krishna says, having known you shall be free from evil. So it is applicable relatively, it is applicable from absolute level. So your journey itself will be pleasant. Journey of life will be pleasant. It's a beautiful life if you have this knowledge. And eventually you will reach your destination. What is your destination? There is only one destination. What is that?
Self-realization.
Salvation.
That's it. So the core of your personality. Infinite peace, infinite bliss. But it's not that you have to wait till you get there. Otherwise, somebody may rightly say, oh, so when will I get to that state? Don't worry. your journey in this life will be beautiful. Life will be, it is what it is. World will keep on throwing challenges at you. That's the nature of the world. You can't change that. But once you develop that ability to deal with the world, you'll have a beautiful ride. And that's what we all are aiming for. So therefore, he says you'll be free from evil, mental agitation, even relatively speaking. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, the Blessed Lord said, to you who does not cavil, we already explained, you have that faith, not blind faith, respect, reverence, that capacity to surrender to this knowledge. This is the right frame of mind. So if you have that right frame of mind, you will be able to receive this knowledge, the greatest secret, which is, even from relatively point of view, not many people know how to live their life, isn't it? So even relatively speaking, it is a great secret. See, the moment the whole world they knows this knowledge is required for whatever they want to achieve in life, the whole world will rush to this knowledge. 70% is a divorce rate in America. We all are Americans, meaning we all are living in America. The whole America should rush to this knowledge. You get my point? Any husband and wife, any two partners, if they have a fight, if they have a conflict, where should they rush to? Simple question.
The
Nothing to do with
therapist.
philosophy. Sorry?
They generally go to the therapist.
And nothing wrong in going to a therapist, but provided therapist knows what.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I'm saying, but actually, they should have spiritual knowledge.
The therapist also should know Bhagavad Gita, Amitji.
Correct. Correct. I mean, you're not wrong. Therapist could be like, I could be that therapist. Somebody who knows this knowledge. So the moment you, somebody had an answer. So anyway, it doesn't matter. So why people are not flocking to this knowledge? So I'm trying to give you funny example from day-to-day life. Somebody could be going through extreme mental torture. Why aren't they rushing to this knowledge? It's a secret, meaning they do not know the importance of this knowledge. They cannot correlate their life's problems to ignorance of this knowledge. Are you getting it? See, the moment you are able to correlate, most of you have done that whatever is happening to you is due to lack of this knowledge. The moment I get this knowledge, to the extent I get this knowledge, my life will be far, far better. So in that sense, even from relative point of view, this knowledge is a secret. Not many people know this knowledge, the importance of this knowledge, the greatness of this knowledge. But from absolute level, the truth, the divinity, the God, you can use any word, is beyond human equipments, beyond body, mind, and intellect. But eventually, this knowledge will take you to that ultimate state of spiritual enlightenment, which having known, you shall be free from evil. And I'm going to give that knowledge to you with wisdom. Meaning, even if one or two aspects of this knowledge, they hit you, your life will be transformed. See, I'm sure, it has happened to most of you. Like what hit me is not necessarily the same aspect of knowledge inspired you. Are you with me? But something must have inspired you. A lot of people, somebody told me like a few weeks back, what changed his life was that statement, life is to give, not to take. That transformed my life. That message hit me like an arrow. Veera may share some other experience. Devendra ji, something else must have hit him. So that's the power of this knowledge. So therefore he says knowledge along with wisdom, that awakening. And once that awakening comes, that's it. You don't have to do anything after that. And don't take it literally. I mean, then you know, once the direction is set, where is the problem? Once I know my house is in the west, I mean, eventually I will get there. I mean, nobody has to say anything to me. I may stop on the way, I may go for a walk, I may do this, I may do that, but my direction is correct. But without that awakening, I'm going east. How can I reach west? So that's what it means, that awakening. I hope I'm able to convey that word. Nobody can awaken you. Is that correct English? I don't know. Maybe it is correct English. Nobody can shake you. So these are the main points in the first verse. So any questions, quick questions before we conclude? It's a beautiful chapter, very powerful chapter, chapter 9.
I would like to share. Last year, I had an awakening kind of when somebody explained to me that nothing is bad, everything comes to help, even the things that I feel like are bad. I was in a lot of mental anguish with family problems, and that realization and I didn't believe him at first, but that realization and reflection and understanding has given me great peace and has made me seek more of this knowledge.
Great, why not? But anything not clear from what we discussed today or from verse number 1? Any doubts? Any questions?
Amitji, the word guhya, when they are using, is particularly it just means secret, but like you mentioned, it's not a secret like it's classified. It's just that people are unaware because of the knowledge. They are not committing to it. That's why it remains a secret, right?
Yes, secret, like we discussed, it is applicable from relative and absolute level. Relative level, nobody knows this knowledge. I mean, handful of people, they know the knowledge of Vedanta, but he is using it from absolute level. Though it is applicable from relative level, he is talking about supreme reality, the core of your personality. You don't know it. Nobody knows it. Why nobody knows it? Because you cannot experience it by body, mind, intellect. In that sense, with body you cannot contact supreme reality. With emotions you can't feel it. With intellect you cannot understand it. So therefore, supreme reality, divinity, you can use any word, is the secret, a topmost secret in that sense, not in the sense classified.
Classified, yeah. Thanks, Amitji.
See, this secret is so unsecretive, it is closest to you, but still it is secretive. You get the paradox.
Yeah.
So like the pilgrims, they were going to Mecca, Medina with Prophet Muhammad. And he made a fascinating statement. That which you are seeking is closer to the neck of the camel to which you are holding on to. It was storm, shamal, I think they call it. So to protect themselves, they were hugging on to tightly to the neck of the camel. He's saying that supreme reality is closer to the neck of the closer than the neck of the camel to which you are holding on to, and still we are saying it is a secret. Actually, it's not a secret, but also it is a secret. You get my point?
Yeah.
All right, so 3 minutes are left. So either we can have early
I have-
dinner, at least for me, it could be 3 minutes early dinner. For you, it could be a nice walk in the park. I don't know.
Amitji, Lena had a question. Quick question.
Yeah, Lena, where are you?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, Amiji.
Oh, hi, Lena.
When you said earlier, or just the statement that we cannot experience this divinity with the body, mind, or intellect at the same time. You said at this point, right? But if somebody is self-realized, or at some point further down the road in his development or growth path, and at the same time we're saying divinity is peace, fullness, happiness, and all of that. So I'm just wondering that how can we not experience it if it's all of that, so are you saying that we will, because we're becoming more and more calm, we're becoming more serene, we're becoming more composed, and all of these things, so isn't this then the experience of this divinity in through the body, mind, and intellect?
So you are getting nearer to divinity. That has got nothing to do with divinity. See, it's like a dreamer is on the verge of waking up. A highly evolved dreamer. That example will help you. But only when he wakes up, he will understand what is waking state. With his dream body, dream mind, dream intellect, he cannot experience the waking state. There are two different planes of consciousness. You get it? Dream state is different, waking state is different. So the state of self-realization is is totally different field of experience. It's not different in quality, it's different in quantity. So therefore we say it is beyond body, mind, intellect. Only when you transcend body, mind, intellect, you experience that state. So how can you experience that? How can you get even a glimpse of that? Through body, mind, intellect. How can a dreamer get even a tiny glimpse of the waking state? It's not possible. So only when the dreamer becomes the waker, he will eventually experience that state. But your question is valid. As that awakening comes, as you offload your desires, you are becoming more and more peaceful, calm, and content. But still, that experience has got nothing to do with the experience of self-realization. We were talking about infinite peace, infinite bliss. What is that? We can't even conceive. So therefore, it remains beyond. That's the very definition. Only when you transcend body, mind, intellect, you reach the self. But it's not wrong to say you get a glimpse of that. But it's not actually, you cannot experience that. You can say you may mimic that state. All right, so have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Saturday. Those who attend Holocaust of Attachment, we have a class tomorrow, right?
Yes, Amitji.
Thank you, Amiji.
Thanks, Amiji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amiji.
Bye.
Weekend.
Bye.
Thank you, Amiji.
Bye.
Hari Om.
Bye.